Welcome. We are peeling back the curtain for this podcast. I'm chilling in pajama pants, still in my hump day shirt. So if you just watched the Raw Deal podcast for the week, you realize that I was actually wearing pants. So is Charlie. So we decided to do something not necessarily like different. We used to post a lot of the draft videos, but life happens. We stopped doing that. But we do have a mock draft that we want to give to you guys. We've been spending the past probably hour doing our mock draft. It's the day before the draft. Right now it's currently 10:23 p.m. So this, I don't know, we might release it like early in the morning or something.
Yeah,
but
day of draft day.
So it's pretty much a day of draft. So Charlie got odds, I got evens. We went through tried not to alter each other's picks too much, but sometimes it's like, dude, it's too obvious.
Sometimes it's just so obvious.
So anyway, pick number 1, the Cleveland Browns.
And real quick, I just want to say we've been able to stay in the loop this entire draft season.
Oh yeah,
because of a Facebook group called Lombardi's Draft. And shout out to you guys in there watching this. But so I got Cleveland. I think it's obvious. There's been debate lately, but I think it's Myles Garrett. He's an elite prospect. You add him to your front seven. Just don't mess this up, Cleveland. I think Browns fans will agree with me.
And as much as I love the Lombardi draft page, guys, Patrick Mahomes is not supposed to go number 1, even though you all seem to think so. All right. Anyway, so number 2, San Francisco. I think. When we were doing this, Charlie's very needs oriented. So the first thing he usually does when he goes to
check out the needs, just in case.
Check the needs of the group, of the team, and then go from there. Be like, all right, well, who's there from those teams, whatever. And the first thing I do is who's the best player available. Could that team make it work?
Which is a better mindset to have when in the draft. Like if you're an actual GM.
Maybe if you were a GM, usually. And honestly, I think the best overall player in the draft, he's the most pro-ready, the most impactful player, is Jamal Adams. Safety from LSU. San Francisco can make it work. You put him back there, you've got Jamal Adams, Eric Reed just bringing hell.
I could do some damage.
Get a big hitter. Some people want to discredit his big hitting ability, but I don't know. He's good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and then third is Chicago. This is a mixture of both best player available and needs, and they go with Soloman Thomas. Thomas can play that gap. Like he's not completely a defensive tackle, and he's not a completely defensive end. He's just kind of right there in the middle. He can play more in, and you can have, since they're, I believe, a 3-4, you can have Leonard Floyd rush the outside, who they drafted at pick 9 last year. So Soloman Thomas to the Bears at 3 makes sense to me.
It's a solid pick. Soloman Thomas was really good. And I watched him in the bowl game. It was against North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We turned it on. Yeah, we literally turned it on to watch Mitchell Trubisky, formerly known as Mitch.
The artist formerly known as.
So we turned it on to watch him, and Soloman Thomas completely won the game for Stanford at the end of the game. It was awesome. And from there, I was like, yo, this guy's good. And he's got a lot of heart. So really good pick there. Pick 4, Charlie. What does every young quarterback need?
They need a big tight end they can throw to.
Big ass tight end, nice security blanket, and we have one of the best tight ends coming out of the draft for a very, very long time. Look, man, you can see over my shoulder, this shoulder. This is the UCF symbol. It's my school. I still believe in Bortles. Bortles can thrive. He needs some people around him, and they've done a really good job of bumping up the defense. I went back and forth between O.J. Howard and Leonard Fournette here, but I'm going to go O.J. Howard. I think he's just – the longevity is going to be there. So.
And he might be the most secure offensive pick in the draft.
That's true.
So at this point, Tennessee at 5, they're sitting there smiling because they got Marshon Lattimore sitting there right for him. We're looking at their corners, and they're not pretty. They just recently signed Logan Ryan, but the guy opposite of him covering the right side is I can't remember the name. He was so relevant. So, Marshon Lattimore at 5. It makes too much sense here for the Titans to pick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's really good. He's got potential through the roof. Mm-hmm. Quick, good man guy, man on man. So, pick 6. We've got the New York Jets, which I hate to give them someone so good because I'm a Patriots fan. But Malik Hooker's sitting there. The Jets need more playmakers. They were at their best when they had, Darrelle Revis.
Oh yeah.
Who's the can't wait guy?
Bart Scott.
So they had people all over the place, and their defensive line is still very good, but they could use a little bit of secondary help. And they're a team. Their mindset has always been, hey, let's go out and beat teams 10-7 if we have to. And Malik Hooker is a playmaker. He's going to get you points.
The ultimate center fielder. That's
Absolutely.
what he's been nicknamed.
Absolutely.
Makes sense there. And then at 7, we got the new Los Angeles Chargers. So they're pissed right now. Their guy's Hooker. They wanted him gone. So they take best thing available, and that is Jonathan Allen. Imagine Allen and Bosa running next to each other. Allen could take over Corey Liuj, who had a rough season last year. And I think it just makes sense for the team as a whole because there's not really a safety you could take here. And Allen just fits the mold for him.
He does. Carolina, I didn't want to do it. Everyone has a running back going to Carolina. It's been Leonard Fournette for the past 3 months, 4 months, and then all of a sudden, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's perfect fit for Carolina, perfect fit for Carolina." Then over the past week, everyone's like, "Christian McCaffrey, better than all of them." No, he's not. Leonard Fournette is the best running back in this class. People seem to think that because he has power, he's obviously slow.
Yeah,
and I hate that.
When he came on, ran faster than Cook. I think it should have opened some eyes.
I believe they ran the same time, or at least Fournette was just barely behind Cook. They virtually ran the same time at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Cook is known as the speed guy, and Fournette's known as the power guy. McCaffrey can do a lot of things, but what Carolina needs, they just need a guy that can just run it right down their throats. Let Cam Newton run off the play action. A read option, if Fournette can get better at coming out of the shotgun, which I'm sure he can. Mm-hmm. He's a really smart kid, good kid. If they can run a read option with Fournette and Cam Newton, it's over. Those 2 huge guys.
Oh, yeah. I think it makes total sense for them. And then at Cincinnati, at 9, we have them taking Reuben Foster. I mean, talk about just a big man that would.
He's violent.
Violent. He fits that Cincinnati kind
Him and Vontaze Burfict next to each other. Oh my
Forget
God.
about it. Forget about it. Yeah. I think if I was a Bengals fan, I'd be happy about this. I personally like Foster just because of how mean he is. Alabama has these mean players, and he's one of them. So
they do. They've had Ray Maualuga forever, just holding up the middle. But dude. Brutal. It's about time. They got someone new, and he could become the face of that defense. So, number 10, Buffalo. I don't know why, but Deshaun Watson just looks so good in a Buffalo uniform. They like him. He likes him back. A lot of people say Mitchell Trubisky should be the first quarterback off the board, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something special about Watson. He knows how to win, and Buffalo doesn't. So they need someone with a winning mentality to come in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's the ultimate leader. We've seen what he can do as far as leadership ability, and Deshaun Watson's what Buffalo needs.
I can see it. I really can. So and then at 11 we got the Saints, and they're taking defensive end Derek Barnett. Barnett is. He's been getting some shade thrown at him. Now, let's put it this way. When a man breaks Reggie White's sack record on a team, he's not some Joe Schmo. All right.
This was a guy that a lot of people saw as a number 1 locked-in overall pick.
Yeah.
Coming out of last year, people said, dude, Derek Barnett is the guy. So.
They were having him hand in hand with Garrett. And now, over the course of time, he's been – I mean, people can say Charlton's better than him. That's it. He's not, in my eyes, at least. I think Derek Barnett's great. I think the Saints would love this pick because, again, I was looking at their lineup, and, yeah, he can start right away, and he'd be nice to start for them.
Oh, God, yeah. We are at
second Cleveland pick 12.
Second Cleveland pick. Once again, Cleveland, there's been all this talk Oh, man, it's Cleveland. They're going to screw up the number 1 overall pick. They're going to take Trubisky over Myles Garrett. Please, no. Don't do that, Cleveland. Please don't do that.
Give yourselves a chance for the next 10 years.
What they can do is if Mitchell Trubisky falls to them, they can take him at pick 12, which is exactly what they would do in this scenario. Once again, it's just I really like the fit. Trubisky can go there. There are rumors that they might just start Cody Kessler. That you really could just ride out with Cody Kessler for a year. I know
some Browns fans like Kessler.
Like, you could at least test it. What's the worst thing that happens? Kessler ends up being really good. Trubisky has to sit longer, and they use him as trade bait in like 2 years or something. But,
yeah,
I mean, that's a good problem to have. That means you at least found your quarterback in Cleveland. So even if Kessler's not the right guy, you have Trubisky. If Trubisky doesn't pan out, Garrett is going to pan out. So,
yes,
no matter what, I think you get a good pick out of those two.
I think it works. 13, the Arizona Cardinals. This is a great situation for them. They're taking Mike Williams. He's a wide receiver from Clemson. And, they got Larry Fitzgerald, who's on his probably last year, and John Brown. So it makes too much sense, honestly. So
that's true. At number 14, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. And anytime you think about the Eagles, I think a position that's synonymous with them is the running back position, that scat back. They've always had it.
Yep.
They had it with Brian Westbrook. They ended up having it with Darren Sproles. They've got Christian McCaffrey sitting right here. He's a playmaker, risk taker, but I think it's a good fit for them. They'll figure out a way to use him, and especially now that Chip Kelly's gone, they're not going to try to be too fancy with him and screw him up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really big thing to take away. Also, going back, I hate going back on picks a little bit, but with the Cleveland pick with Trubisky, you got to think, after last year passing on Carson Wentz and seeing how well he did, you cannot justify to your fans having 2 first-round picks and not taking a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
You have to take one, right? We're just hoping they don't take one at number 1 overall. So
yeah.
So over to 15 with the Colts.
Yeah, at 15, the Colts, in my eyes, the best story of all this whole draft process, and I have them taking Haason Reddick. This is the perfect example of going to the Senior Bowl, going to the Combine, and just doing everything in between to make yourself a known name. And he lands in the top 15, and it'll be a really nice help for the Colts defense, a team that really needs defense.
He's one of those guys who's been taking every interview he possibly can, putting his name out there every possible way, and just slowly inching up the draft board. Now, all of a sudden, we have him getting picked in the top half of the first round.
Went from unknown for most people to top 15. So
he's just solid fundamentally. Good instincts, good tackler.
Everything.
He's what you need in a linebacker, good pass rusher. So he's got everything you really need. And especially with the emergence of like the Khalil Macks of the world, people aren't scared of smaller school guys anymore, which is good.
Yeah.
You don't have to be from the SEC to be a defensive player to get drafted. You don't have to be from Alabama and LSU.
And you don't have to be a quarterback from a big school either. Carson Wentz proved that to us last year.
Absolutely. So at number 16, we have Baltimore taking one of my favorite players in the draft. I'm assuming still one of your favorite players.
Absolutely.
Corey Davis.
They're sitting here smiling taking this pick.
It's one of those things. They need someone that can just run a lot of routes. Corey Davis, I mean, he wasn't necessarily asked to run a lot of routes in college, but he has really, really good footwork, good top-end speed, good height. He's prototypical, everything you need. Williams is off the board, so I think those are the clear 1 and 2. I don't think John Ross is quite there with these two guys. I think Corey Davis, people thought Mike Williams was the solid pick. He's been the number 1 the whole time. And people always seem to talk up these other guys, and people get lost in the shuffle. Corey Davis is still really good. Like, Corey Davis deserves to get picked 16th, and that's why I'm going there.
I agree. Good pick. And then Washington at 17, got them taking edge rusher Charles Harris. Charles Harris, another guy who's been slowly but surely building his name in this at the perfect time, is the way I like to put it. Building his name up at the perfect time. People are going back, watching the film, and be like, okay, all right. So I think Washington could definitely use him. And I have him rated much higher than some of these other pass rushers. So 17 seems like a good fit, and I think Redskins will get a heavy pass rusher there.
I agree. I'm not crazy high on Charles Harris. He's one of those guys that I think be pretty solid. And I mean, really out of your first overall pick, you just want him to like
play,
always like get to your second contract. You want him to be able to, cash in, get his second contract. That's what you want out of your first round picks. So number 18, I have Tennessee taking the biggest bust of the first round, David Njoku.
Dude.
Out of Miami. It's a feeling. I've been roasted. I don't know. It's just
he's been right on these feelings before.
I understand.
I'll give him it.
I understand that he's versatile. I really do.
A tight end in the screen.
It's cool.
It's something new. That's for sure.
The only way I see him being successful is if Tennessee eventually, or any other team really, splits him outside and makes him and basically has him play like a really quick Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 230, and he runs fast.
Yeah. So
it's like
if you play him more as a wide receiver, fine, which Tennessee could do, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't see him really panning out. But this is a mock draft. He's definitely going in the first round.
Absolutely.
So I have Tennessee taking him because what do young quarterbacks really like?
They like the tight end.
Big ass tight ends, big hunks of meat. They need them. Like if you look down, everybody needs a nice solid check down. That third option, quarterbacks can go through the progressions, be like, nope. Oh, there's my 6'4", 230-pound dude chilling.
Yeah,
that's what Mariota needs.
At 19, we got the Buccaneers. I think the pick just makes too much sense. I got them getting running back Dalvin Cook. It's one of those picks where it just feels like it's going to happen. Yep. And my team has that same issue, being the Packers.
Yeah, dude.
But, he's from Florida State. Jameis Winston from Florida State. I don't know. It feels like a good spot for him.
It works, and you got to think Winston's still young, and he played with Dalvin Cook too.
Yep.
They already have chemistry. It's not just like some people have the Bills taking Mike Williams because it's Clemson with him and Clemson with Sammy Watkins, but they didn't play together. So they don't really have chemistry already built. But meanwhile, Watson and Cook actually have that chemistry already built. It would be fun.
Agreed.
So number 20, Denver, their line is Swiss cheese currently.
It's terrible.
It's not
a sexy pick.
I don't know. I have them taking what I believe is the best lineman in this draft, Garrett Boles out of Utah. And I don't know, he's one of those guys they can play. He's probably going to play tackle, either right tackle, left tackle. Not as versatile as Forrest Lamp per se, but he's got long arms, really strong guy. He's going to be a solid foundation for years. And that's really what Denver needs because they're still, as long as they get quarterback issues solved, they're still in the title hunt. They still have a lot of the people from when they went to the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Any man it was a quote from the Combine talking about just shoving dudes in the dirt. That's something we want your offensive lineman to say. And then at 21 with Detroit, got them taking cornerback Tre'Davious White from LSU. With Conley free fall and you don't know what's happening, I think Tre'Davious White then becomes the second best corner, personally to me. And at Detroit, a team that they got out of the playoffs because of their secondary. So fix what you can. And Tre'Davious White sitting there, I think they jump on that and get themselves a nice LSU corner.
Oh, I agree. That's a good pick. So, I mean, if you guys didn't know, my college team is LSU. Usually that's who I try to root for. So, number 22, Miami. I have them taking someone I just referenced, Forrest Lamp from Western Kentucky. Miami just, I don't know. In that division, it seems like teams always draft based on what the rest of their division has. Because, 6 of your 16 games are against divisional opponents. And so Miami, they know that they have to win both games against the Jets, both games against the Bills, and hopefully split one against the Patriots. And then all of a sudden they're in a really good spot. Well, Bills and Jets generally have pretty good pass rushes. They have historically. You need to be able to block guys.
Yeah.
So taking Lamp, literally stick him anywhere on the line. He'll be great. Probably guard. They'll probably draft him as a guard, and he'll be a mainstay.
The offensive lineman picks, they're not sexy, but they work, and you need to do them. Every team has to do it eventually. And at 23 with the Giants, I got them taking linebacker Jarrad Davis from Florida. Just another guy who's such a solid pick. And the Giants, they need linebackers. Anything to get the defense better is, people have the Giants taking literally everything. So, I don't know. In this, it almost seems like Jarrad Davis could be the best player available at this point. I know they have offensive lineman needs, but I think once Boles and Lamp are gone, none of those good. I like Robinson a little, but not the first round pick 23, especially with a guy like Jarrad Davis sitting on the board. So Giants linebacker, should work.
I agree. So 24. There are sometimes, pretty much, I feel like teams always take two things. They either take something that they really need. They take the number one need. Well, really three things. Number one need, top overall player, or they try to draft a position that they already have. That way they can completely overload people. It's like with the Giants. They already had Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, went out and signed Brandon Marshall, not because they needed a wide receiver, but because how can they possibly stop all of those guys?
Yeah.
I think we could see that with Oakland's pick if Takk McKinley were to fall to them. Because you have Takk McKinley blitzing from one side, you have Khalil Mack blitzing from the other side. Super deadly. Oakland's defense is already pretty feared. Mm-hmm. But if you have those two guys disguising blitzes, being able to drop back in coverage a little bit, they're just two really versatile, good, solid football players. I don't think you can really go wrong, and I love Takk McKinley as
he is someone with so much potential that you could do that with. So at Houston, 25, got them taking a quarterback, Pat Mahomes. He's got a cannon. I just see it working in Houston for him. I can see the man in a Texans uniform. The only person I could ever see in a Texans uniform when they were kind of quarterback needy was Teddy Bridgewater. And I still feel that would have been such a great pick for them. But, not round one. But, Mahomes at 25. Mahomes has done such a good job elevating himself over someone like Kaiser. Because at the beginning, you had Kaiser, Trubisky, Watson, and then Mahomes was kind of there on the zone. And now it's pretty notable that Watson, Trubisky, and Mahomes you can take your pick of the litter. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, Mahomes is definitely the biggest maybe out of all the quarterbacks for sure, right? Because he could come out and be Matt Stafford, or he could come out and be Johnny Manziel, which Johnny Manziel wasn't really that bad when he was coming. It's just his off-field issues were an issue. But if he learns to stay more in the pocket, whereas Aaron Rodgers, he learned to be in the pocket, and on the Around the NFL podcast,
great podcast, by the way.
Yeah, they're talking about how Mahomes has gone on and just studied Aaron Rodgers ad nauseum because that's who he wants to become. Because Rodgers, he can run, but you look at these quarterbacks that we forget they were mobile quarterbacks in college, like Aaron Rodgers, like Alex Smith, like Ben Roethlisberger, but they had to learn how to stay in the pocket and protect their body, or else you end up like RG3. He's not nearly as quick as RG3. He's not a running quarterback by any means. He's a gunslinger, but still he likes to make those freak plays, right? So
absolutely.
So I'm looking up a corner that is 6'2", 180 pounds, cornerback. Let's see what teams like cornerbacks that are huge and just play man-to-man, and they're really good at it. oh, yeah, Seattle. And they'll just do it. They'll just take him. And people will be like, well, their secondary is already good enough. Hell no. Richard Sherman has been showing some issues. If he were to leave,
oh, yeah,
they might need that new guy. And if you look, we popped in, Madden 2010 or something, 2011.
Yeah,
we literally, I think it was Madden 12. We're looking through old rosters. You can see the cycle of corners
from the Seahawks
have coming through from the Seahawks. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, there's Sherman the first year he was good. And then Browner was rated like real shit. And then Browner came up. And then he left. And then you look the next year, and you've got that
Maxwell.
Byron Maxwell. And then you've got Shed. And you just see these guys
now Lane
every year. And now Lane, you see them just grooming. They are a cornerback factory, and King would be an amazing addition.
Yeah, Kevin King would be a nice fit there. And then we go to the Chiefs at 27. They need some D-line. They like a quarter. I feel like Andy Reid would like a quarterback here, but with the three big ones being off the board, I don't think he wants Kaiser. So, therefore, he goes with defensive end Taco Charlton from Michigan. They need edge rushers. Chiefs need a few things, but I feel you can't go wrong with Charlton here, especially at the end of the first round. I feel like he'll play right away. So.
Oh, God, yeah. At 28.
Craziest pick of the whole draft.
Dallas. Yeah, people don't really know what Dallas is going to do. They seem so set. They have certain needs, but there's no one, glaring huge issue on Dallas, right? And they've got a good young core. Their major positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
They got those.
Their corners, a little iffy. Could definitely give them a corner here. But I think Dallas is just – they're in offensive juggernaut mode right now. And
they want the best offense.
What was the guy's name? Swine or something?
Yeah.
After Jason Witten, they don't have much.
Who's old, by the way?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do not have much, and I believe he's 37. Something.
Yeah, he's
getting up there. They could be looking for the next guy. They thought that Gavin Escobar was going to be that guy. He's gone, not on the team anymore. And I don't know. They're going to just keep trying until they find the next Jason Witten. Someone to just come in and be that fourth guy, third guy potentially if Brian ever ends up leaving. And Evan Ingram from Ole Miss. I almost said Mississippi State for some reason. Evan Ingram from Ole Miss would be a really good addition to their team. They'd be able to use him. He'd be not the greatest blocker, but I think they have it covered with the rest of their offensive line.
Exactly. I mean, that would it'd put that offense over the ledge, and that might be what they're looking for. So I think that's a cool, interesting mock. So at 29, we got my team, the Green Bay Packers. And in this...
Must be nice to have a team picking.
He likes the Patriots, and they've traded away every pick.
They always do anyway.
29, we get the Green Bay Packers taking corner Marlon Humphrey. They seem to have interest in Humphrey. Humphreys would come in and literally be the best corner on the roster day one. It's sad but true. Because right now our best corner is Devon House. So I think that should sum it up.
Breaking news. Bleacher Report has reported that a video has surfaced contradicting the story of Garyon Conley's sexual assault accuser, proving that she made it up.
See, you know what, though? She should go to prison for falsely raping.
Isn't that messed up? They will
get away for it now.
They will always think of him as a rapist just for the accusation because it's guilty until proven innocent in America.
It's bullshit.
That really sucks. Anyway, number 30,
Poor
the
guy.
Steelers. They're the Steelers.
They do everything right.
They're that team that's going to be like, you know what? I think we're good everywhere. Why not just take someone that was a potential top 10, maybe even top 5 pick in the draft? And, but he got hurt, might be out for a year. It's fine. We'll sit him for a year. Totally fine. We'll take Quincy Wilson from Florida. Come on over, right? And that's what they do. It seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where we sit and we watch the draft and we see that guy falling. We're like, well, you never know. Happened with Myles Jack. We're like, please fall to the Jaguars. Please fall to the Jaguars. And they finally did. The Jaguars are pretty much like our secondary team, one of them. And
they're fun to root for.
Yeah, they are. They're a cool team. And he actually did, and Pittsburgh,
we were like freaking out when they picked him.
Be like, of course they would. Of course they would.
I can just see it happening.
Yep.
And then we get the Falcons, who honestly, they don't have any needs. But if they have one, you could say defensive line. So
whatever, bro. They need to pay the refs more like the Patriots did in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So Malik McDowell's sitting there. Vok Lombardi thinks he's better than Soloman Thomas. I watched the video. I agree he's really good. So I think, Falcons have a prize sitting here for them so they can continue to be the best team in the NFC.
That's true. Sitting at 32, it was the Patriots. It is now the Saints. The Saints traded away Brandon Cooks.
And they're sitting there cheesing right now.
And they're just sitting here and they're like, well, we didn't necessarily need to replace Brandon Cooks. We're fine with taking our chances with Michael Thomas and Willie Snead.
Yep.
But hey, why not take the guy that just broke the combine record for the 40-yard dash and just take John Ross out of Washington?
Why not?
Because it makes sense.
It does.
Now all of a sudden they have a guy that you could view as a clone, except bigger.
And you know what? When Drew Brees' successor walks in and he's able to throw to Michael Thomas and John Ross.
Yeah, they're both young. They took Thomas last year, right?
Yeah,
so
last year.
And I don't know. It's one of those things where it's another one of those stigmas. We talked about Leonard Fournette. Just because he's a power back, runs people over, he must be slow. People assume that since John Ross is fast, the only comparison I've seen is like Deshaun Jackson and name any guy that their goal is to run straight.
Yeah.
Who's the guy from the Ravens?
Perriman?
Mike Williams.
Oh, Mike Williams.
Like literally, that's the whole goal is just, oh, he's really fast, so he's just run straight. Hell no. Go watch the routes he ran during his combine drills.
You can pull a Tease Tabor thing here too. Watch the tape. Yeah. I mean, this guy, they knew he was fast, but he wasn't, known for just being fast. Jake Browning had a nice hand there with John Ross. So
Jake Browning's the GOAT, so
next year pick one.
You tried doing this in one of our drafts. You tried saying the number one draft pick for the NBA draft or whatever, and you were really wrong. I can't even remember who you picked.
Jake Browning won't even come out. Don't pay attention to that.
So now, really quick, I want to go through. That's the end of round one.
Yep.
Please comment what you thought of our picks.
How much you hated it.
But don't go anywhere yet. Yeah, everyone hates every draft. Oh, you're stupid.
Yeah.
My team would take them.
It's a mock. They're not. Some of these picks are pretty original. So
no. But now we're gonna go through and list our favorite players that are listed as second round, third round, fourth round talents.
Yeah,
right.
In the
People
range,
that generally are projected in those areas. So second round, I'll go first. I think this is kind of an obvious one. Jabril Peppers is going to succeed wherever he goes.
I like that guy so much.
I called it with Tyrann Mathieu. People are like, well, no one's going to know how to use him because he's such a weird guy coming out, right? Same thing with Jabril Peppers. He's not nearly he's a different type of player than Tyrann Mathieu, but he's going to find a way to make it work.
So
he's a little undersized for a linebacker. He's a little too slow to play center field safety. He doesn't really hit hard enough to be a strong safety, but he's going to find a way to
They're going to plug him in, That's what we were saying last year about Deion Jones. We liked the guy, and we knew they'd plug him in. And what did Atlanta do?
Yep.
Made him a beast.
He's good.
So my second round is Sidney Jones. I wouldn't be mad if the Packers took him in the first, I'll be honest. He got hurt, but this guy, he's such a cool dude that being a great player on top of it just makes him so likable. So
he is good.
Sidney Jones.
Third round, who you got?
Third round, another guy that suffered an injury, and Honestly, the Packers could take him in the first. This isn't just because the Packers could take him, but I do like them. And that is the guy that came on at the East-West game. Is Fabian Moreau from UCLA. He was doing a bench press and tore a pectoral. And Sidney Jones was on his last drill of his pro day and tore something in his leg. Just unlucky, guys. That's very unlucky.
Yeah. My third round picks, right? Yeah. Third round talent guy I really like. Chris Godwin out of Penn State, wide receiver.
He is so good.
He's just really quick feet, precise route running. You see that he puts in the time. You get someone like, Julian Edelman, who just put in the time. He doesn't run a bunch of routes. He just goes out and works really hard, runs precise routes, and uses his quickness to get open. And Godwin does a lot of the same things. Really quick, though, I think I said earlier that Quincy Wilson got hurt. Like he didn't.
No.
He didn't. I don't know why I said that.
No, I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. But he was projected really high, and he's fallen off a little bit. He was slow, whatever.
He tested slow, so everyone's freaking out.
Pittsburgh's going to be the one team that's smart to take him. So I'm sure you already left your hate comment and probably not even watching the video anymore. But I will be man enough to say that he got it. I don't know why I was thinking of that. So
it happens.
So then my fourth round talent guy, someone that I like a lot. A lot of people don't like him because he doesn't fit the mold of the new NFL. But Jake Butt out of Michigan is really good.
Injury guy.
Here is a guy that got hurt. Yeah. Another one of these guys that he's solid. He's going to come out.
Solid.
Yeah. He
was hurt in the bowl game too. So another guy, late, basically just about when you're ready to start the draft process, he's done. So
yep. He's a very good blocker. He's going to do all the things you need him to do. Catch passes out. He is a Jason Witten type. Jason Witten was never a burner, never a big route runner, never the greatest blocker, but he always got things done. And those are the types of players that I really like. I would love if the Patriots could snag him up because hell, the Patriots could pick up one of these guys. Jamal Peppers, hell. We've seen him balk if he fell to the Patriots in round 3.
If the Patriots don't trade or do anything, I have a feeling Tease Tabor is sitting there and they take him. And it's just
funny.
It's game over. And all right, so my fourth round is UCF, Shaquille Griffin. Not too many people knew him, and we knew him because we watched the games. And he was at the NFLPA Bowl, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh, this guy's he's not going to get drafted, but it's still cool." He was making plays in that game.
Literally, I couldn't watch the game. I text Charlie. I was like, "How's Griffin doing?" He's like, "Dude, they're talking about him a lot."
Yeah, and then he goes to the combine. And he has Deion Sanders saying how he has the best footwork out of any corner. And I think that made everyone's minds okay, maybe we need to look into him a little more. So, fourth roundish right now. So,
and I mean,
he could rise.
NFL, I don't even know if you saw this, but NFL Network put out a list of the best factories for talent. And UCF was listed as number 8. Ohio State was 1, dick. But I think it was Miami. Yeah, Miami was number 1. I mean, it's going to go downhill when Njoku's out of the league in a year. But
when he's a Hall of Famer.
But whatever, bro.
A little too far.
I bet you $5 that there's a better chance that he's out of the league in 5 years than a Hall of Famer. But anyway, so they were listed because UCF doesn't necessarily get a lot of players drafted, but the players that do get drafted are producing pretty well. You've got Brandon Marshall, you've got Kevin Smith, running back for the Lions, not there anymore. You've got Bortles is doing all right. At least he's still in the league, right? Yeah. Perriman, Brashad Perriman. Little bit of injury history.
This is his year.
AJ Boye just signed a big contract. Yeah. Josh Robinson's doing really good things with the Vikings. These are all just recent guys. Ja Reed, really good lineman. Josh Sitton.
Everyone was just exposed to AJ Boye now, right? He went undrafted. There's another UCF guy that went undrafted 2 years ago, Jacoby Glenn. You will know his name by the end of 2017.
He decided to leave school after his redshirt sophomore season.
He was so young. He was so good. Too.
He should have stayed, but the UCF went to a bowl game one year, and then he along with a couple other big pieces left that year. Perriman,
Geathers,
played Geathers,
a few guys, yeah.
And the team didn't win a single game the next year.
0-12, no joke.
And now they're rebounding, but Jacoby Glenn was a big part of that. He's on the Bears roster right now. I think he's still only probably 21 years old, so
he's really young.
He's gonna be good. He was 20 going into the draft. Who do you got in the 5th round, Charlie?
5th round, I got our most popular video on Visokii Gaming, and that is defensive end Trey Hendrickson. This guy, everyone recognized him at the East-West game, and he's been lost in the shuffle a little bit since then, but at the time he was really hyped up. I looked into him. I became a fan. So 5th round.
There you go.
That's my guy.
5th round, best quarterback in the draft.
Fact.
Joshua Dobbs out of Tennessee. Seriously, he's so smart. Like, the dude is a double major.
Rocket
engineer and some other kind of science degree. Dude is just – he's a literal rocket scientist. Okay?
Literally, yes.
Super coachable. And if I'm a team looking to draft a quarterback that can just sit, be a career backup, he'll be like, yeah, sure, dude. I'll go make money being a scientist. I'll make millions of dollars being a backup quarterback. Like, life's good. And if he gets an opportunity, he's able to learn any system. He'll be a really good spot start if needed. A team with a quarterback that has some injury issues, like, Pittsburgh's already got their backup. But, let's say Garoppolo were to get traded. If New England took Josh Dobbs, I'd be so happy. They have Brissett still, but he'd be awesome. The only downside is he's ugly as shit.
Hey, man.
I won the talk.
Some quarterbacks look like a fish. It just happens, bro.
Dude, it happens. He can be casted for the
Aaron Rodgers looks like a fish, and look what he's doing.
The live action Finding Nemo.
You and Aaron Rodgers can dual roll it.
So 6th round. I'm gonna take a guy that I don't know if he played all 4 years, but he's one of those guys that I felt like he's on the team for a while. That's KD Cannon out of Baylor.
Yeah. I think he jumped out early. I think he was
a junior. But like he was one of those mainstays where every time you watch him, you're like, who is this guy? He's good. Really good speed.
He made plays.
Solid guy. Yeah, he just makes plays.
And he knew how to get open.
He was a chain mover. He's one of those guys where 3rd down, no matter who the quarterback was throwing to him, you're like, all right, KD Cannon's going to get open. And that's really important in the NFL. And he doesn't drop many passes.
Absolutely. So my 6th round is a guy from Pittsburgh. It's a defensive end, Ewan Price. He's a little small guy, but he has a big motor. Like he's almost everything you could want in a pass rusher. But he gets knocked because he's so small, and he plays almost like a defensive tackle spot. So he's going to play the end. Whatever team he lands on, he's going to show up. And he'll be a starter. I think he's going to make a roster no matter what. But there's a good chance by the end of the year he's playing more snaps than the guy ahead of him was.
Oh, absolutely. So 7th round, who you got?
7th round. I keep going back to this NFLPA Bowl. But I'll tell you what. There was names in that game that you impressed. And one of the guys was a defensive end named Samson Ebukam from Eastern Washington. Not only would he make plays getting after the quarterback, but this is important. To make a team, sometimes you're going to have to play special teams. When he was on special teams, I believe he made 3 tackles. That's
on kickoffs and stuff.
Yeah, and kickoffs, punts. He was making plays on special teams. I noted that in my little notes that I do.
Matt Slater was the captain in a Super Bowl, calling the coin toss.
There you go.
And he only plays special teams for the Patriots.
A defensive end, at least he'll make a roster doing that, and he'll work his way up, being whether it's outside or with his hand in the ground.
Absolutely, you got people that that's what they do.
Yeah. Eastern Washington.
And final guy, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think he's going to make a Pro Bowl at some point. He's going to be one of those stories. Amazing, natural athlete, I'm talking about the quarterback turned wide receiver from Houston, Greg Ward Jr. Go watch the tape of him playing quarterback. The only thing he'll say is, he's a little rough at throwing the ball. He threw with a glove on his hand and stuff. He was never really a quarterback.
There was one year he's in the Heisman race.
He's got a really good got a really good arm. He does. But he has some accuracy issues. Such a good natural athlete, smart player. He knows what he's doing. He's going to make it work. He's going to be just like Edelman, if not better. He's a better athlete than Edelman is.
When he's got the ball in his hands, it's special. You
know that he's always going to make that first guy miss.
Absolutely.
That translates to usually another couple yards to maybe, many yards all the way to the end zone. He's gonna make the best of his opportunity wherever he ends up. It's probably gonna be either a 7th round pick or undrafted, like you were saying with your pick. He will be undrafted. He
will be signed that next day. He'll be signed Sunday.
He'll be signed by someone. Who knows? Someone might need a quarterback. He's one of those guys who he could end up being an emergency quarterback in a spot. But
exactly, there's no way this guy
right now he's coming out as a wide receiver, and he's going to be doing really.
I'm
good
rooting for him.
things.
Well, another bonus. We also got a PJ Walker, kind of trying to do the same thing from Temple. So we both like him a lot. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. So comment your favorite players if you want.
Yeah, tell us who are your steals. Tell us who is your one guy, especially rounds 5 to 7, that you're like, yo, this is the guy. Tell us why you like him. You know what I mean?
I love looking him up too. So
absolutely, we want to know as many as possible because these types of videos. If you're still watching this video, you're just like us. You're that guy sitting around or girl sitting around the very last day of the draft when no one else is. All they're doing on ESPN,
sitting there in anxiety, anxious waiting.
We're watching on ESPN, watching the stupid little ticker go across the bottom of the screen, and all they're doing is talking about, oh wow, how is Leonard Fournette gonna do on whatever fucking team?
They're live looking at Myles Garrett.
That's all they're gonna be talking about. But we're like, oh man, who are the Bills gonna take in round 6?
Yeah, exactly.
That's our type of
good
people.
Stuff.
So leave us a thumbs up if you're into wrestling. Come watch the Raw Deal podcast. We have a good time Wednesdays at 8. And if you'd like us to do more of these videos, let us know. We could do some stuff during the middle of the season.
That's it.
And we will see you guys later.
See you next year for another mock draft 2.
Yeah.